Let's get ready for our next presentation. And our speakers are Hoanh and Lieng, giving a talk on the situation of language use of the Cree, Hoang, Lieng, and Ngoc ethnic groups of the Vietic group in Vietnam. So please begin.
Thank you. I would like to present presentation about the situation of language of the Cree, Hoang, Lieng, and Ngoc ethnic groups of Vietic group in Vietnam. This article is based on the results of the social linguistic surveys from the September 2019. And this article, I would like to clarify two issues. The first is the language awareness, and the second is the language use and language preference of the Cree, Hoang, Lieng, and Ngoc ethnic groups belonging to the Vietic group. And we also want to present two objectives. The first is to provide social linguistic data for scientists in their ongoing work of verifying the linguistic component within the Vietic groups. The second is to raise awareness about the negative trends in language use and propose necessary measures to prevent the potential extinction of the Cree, Hoang, Lieng, and Ngoc languages in the current context of integration. So first, we want to go to the introduction. According to the list of the ethnic groups in Vietnam, the Cree, Hoang, Lieng, and Ngoc, along with my sub-Saharan people, are considered the local group of the Czech ethnic groups. It's follows the ethnic committee that the Statistics Office of Vietnam in 2020. If we want to change into the population of the Cree, Hoang has only 54 speakers in Hương Vĩnh community, Hương Khê district, and Hà Tĩnh province. Cree Hoang also have another different name, Kham Phok and Khoi, or Khoi. It's another name of Cree Hoang. Lieng is more crowded. It consists of 1,194 speakers in two provinces, Quảng Bình and Hà Tĩnh. About group has 14,37 speakers, and they live in Thượng Hóa and Minh Hóa district, Quảng Bình province. Cree Hoang and Lieng live in separate village, while people live in mixed community with such people. And Cree Hoang and Lieng and Ngoc also live in close to king's people, as well as the poor and my ethnic groups. The Cree Hoang and Lieng group people are located in high mountainous area in Vietnam, in Quảng Bình. What about the research methodology? We use linguistic field methods and survey methods it's conducting interviews through questionnaires and conducting in-depth interviews, taking photographs and collecting data and observing communication situation. And this is the method we do for my article. The data used in article was collected, as we say, and it's including 33 sheets of questionnaires conducted with Cree Hoang and 2,049 sheets of survey questionnaire conducted with the Lieng people, and 2046 survey questionnaire conducted with groups people. And all the 6 surveys we selected to represent various age group and have a balanced standard. With this, with all the surveys, we processed it by using the SPSS software. And about those, this is the survey result. We have 3 main points. The first one is the awareness of language about the Cree Phop, Mã Lieng, and Roots people. The second is the language use situation of Cree Phop, Mã Lieng, and Roots people. And the third is the language reference of the Cree Phop, Mã Lieng, and Roots people. This is the result of awareness, the awareness of language of people of Cree Phop, Mã Lieng, and Roots people. And with the result, we found that the majority of Cree Phop and Mã Lieng, and Roots, they perceive their language is an independent language, and very small proportion of group Mã Lieng and Cree consider their language is belong to the sixth group, sixth language. And the situation about the situation of of these local groups, the ability of the Cree Phop, Mã Lieng, and Roots people speak with different language. For here is some results. The Cree Phop, Mã Lieng, and Roots people are multilingual communities with the bilingual status of their native language, and Vietnamese being predominant. 100 of Cree Phop, Mã Lieng, and Roots people can speak their native language. And there is small percentage of Cree Phop people know Lao, and Mã Lieng know such language and words language, very small. And Roots know to speak Mice language and such language and words language. In order to further understand the roles of languages in the current life of Cree Phop, Mã Lieng, and Roots people, we have 12 different communication situations and ask them which language they use in each situation. We have some communication situation here. For example, with parents, with spouse, with children, with villagers, with kids people, with other ethnic people, and storytelling, singing, religious ritual, and going to the market, at the meeting in village, at the meeting at commune. The same with the Mã Lieng and Roots people. We cannot, I'm not going through all of this, so I only view some results. The native language of Cree and Mã Lieng and Roots people, as well as Vietnamese, are the 2 most important language in their current life. The prominence of the native language is higher than family communication, village interaction, and cultural activities, while Vietnamese takes on a more prominent role in interaction with other ethnic groups, singing, and community meeting. For example, during singing, only 64 and 7% Cree Phop people, and only 34 and 1% of Mã Lieng people, and 58% of group people in Vietnamese. A significant proportion of Free from Malian and Rock people use both their native language and Vietnamese in most communication situations, such as when going to the market. For example, to exchange information in the market, 18 for and 3 of people and 85 and 4 of Malian people and 82 and 9% of people use both Vietnamese and native language. The next section is going to survey results about the language preference of the Cree, Frog, Malian, and Rock people. In order to gather information about the language preferences of Cree, Frog, Malian, and Rock people, we asked them 2 questions. The first question is for you: which languages and written script are suitable for following situation? For example, daily note-taking, religious rituals, broadcasting, printing books, newspapers, television, collecting, creating literacy and artistic work, etc. The second question is, in the opinions, it is necessary to teach the ethnic script. And this is our result. We can see it. And here is some consider the result regarding the situation of religious ritual. The majority of Cree people, Malian, and Rock people use their native language. In some contexts, for example, daily note-taking, printing books, newspaper, Cree, Frog, Malian, and Rock people use very low. But in the context of teaching and learning at school, all groups use Vietnamese with 100%. For broadcasting, television, and disseminating knowledge, most of Cree, Frog, Malian, and Rock people use native language and Vietnamese. With those, the question 2 is follow the opinion. It is necessary to teach the ethnic script, and this is the result. Almost Cree, Frog people and Malian people and Rock people want to learn their native language script. The percentage answer not necessary to learn or difficult to learn is very small. And the next session is about the discussion. The data in table 1 shows that the awareness of common language among the Frog, Malian, and Rock people is very weak. And in their perception, the Cree and Malian and Rock language are not considered as dialect of just language. The second is the term of in terms of functionality. The Cree, Frog, Malian, and Rock language primarily used in specific communication contexts in the village, storytelling, religious ritual. And from the first aspect, the Cree, Frog, Malian, and Rock languages face several disadvantages. The first, the numbers of speakers is very low. The second is these languages do not have a writing system. The third, due to the demand of modern life and decreasing interest of youngest generation in their native language. And the last, the conversation policy have not archived the desired results. And Also, from the second aspect, the Cree from Lieng and group people have the rights and obligation to learn Vietnamese. That is why it is understandable that the majority of Cree from Lieng and group people have a good knowledge and use Vietnamese. But there is a reality that how Vietnamese is tending to dominate over the Cree from Lieng and group languages. And it is clearly that this is a concerning trend in maintaining the roles of Cree, Rock, Lieng, and Luk languages in the future. Thirdly, in the face of dominance of Vietnamese, it is a positive side. The Cree, Rock, Lieng, and Luk people recognize the role of Vietnamese, but still have a desire to maintain their own language. And the last one, in the face of alarming situation of endangered languages worldwide, UNESCO developed a set of 9 criteria to assess the vitality of language and propose 6 levels of endangerment for language. And based on the UNESCO criteria and the specific assessment formula reference. Yes, it's from the this book. And the last is we change into the conclusion. By studying languages is a Lieng and Rus communities and highlighting the endangerment they face with, we think that linguistic, ethnology, sociology, and cultural study have a responsibility. In order to minimize the consequence of endangerment, we need to evaluate the actual level of endangerment for each language at specific stage. This is a basic to give appreciation and solutions. Here is a four solutions to preserve the important role of Lieng and Rus language in community. The first, raise awareness about the importance of native language with each community. People are more conscious in using their language. The second, encourage and motivate Lieng and Rus people to use their native language in family activities and community culture events in village. The third, depending on specific local conditions, in addition to Vietnamese language radio and television programs, there should be programs in Cree, Lieng, and Rus language. And the last one is needs to comprehensive research program for less study languages like Cree and Lieng. This is all my presentation. Thank you for your